So far this season, if you've been talking about KU football, you've likely been talking about Jalen Daniels as well. But now it's time to bring Jason Bean into that conversation. Bean filled in for Daniels against TCU on Saturday when he left the game with an apparent shoulder injury after getting sacked late in the second quarter. He did return from the locker room to the sideline, but he did not go back into the game, and the status of his injury is still unknown at the time, and the timetable for his return is also unclear. But let's just go ahead and talk about Bean for a second. This is a guy that showed up and absolutely delivered when he was needed against the Horned Frogs. He completed 16 of 24 of his passes for 262 yards and 4 touchdowns. Wow, that is a mouthful, but those are absolutely noteworthy stats for a guy that had only had 2 passing attempts prior to the matchup with TCU. Now, I did notice some similarities between Bean and Daniels, and that is that both of them are a dual threat. And by that, I mean what they can't get done in the air, you can bet that they'll make up for it on the ground. Now, the run game is something that has set Daniels apart from other QBs so far this season, but it has also proven to be a strong suit for Bean as well.
Jason's got some elite speed now. I mean, real deal elite speed. So you have to use that, right? And utilize his capabilities to handle that stuff.
Last year, Bean had 92 carries for just over 400 yards of rushing, and similarly this season, Daniels already has 53 carries for just over 300 yards of rushing. So as you can tell, both of these guys are incredibly mobile. They both have that ability to elude quick defenders, scramble in and out of the pocket when they need to, and of course, make plays with their legs. But did I mention that both of these guys can also air it out down the field? Daniels already has a 73-yard completion on the year from a couple weeks ago, and Bean dropped a 52-yard dime over the weekend against TCU. Now, all of this is just adding to Andy Kotelnicki's multifaceted offensive scheme. Now, some differences that I have seen between these two guys is that consistency piece. Now, you pretty much know what you're going to get when you start Jalen Daniels. He's been very reliable and very consistent as far as a production standpoint goes so far this season. But for Bean's a little bit more of a wild card, and he's a little bit more hit or miss. So he has the chance to get his first start since early November of last year, depending on what happens with Daniels' injury and if he's ruled out for Saturday against Oklahoma. But if Bean is to get that start on Saturday, he's going to have to channel that energy that he brought in the second half against TCU to keep this offense rolling like it has been all season long.